I'm Patrick Corelchi.
And I'm Adriana Cortez, and we're the hosts of Red Pilled America, a new storytelling podcast.
Red Pilled America is not another talk show covering the day's news. We are all about telling stories. Stories Hollywood doesn't want you to hear. Stories the media mocks. Stories about everyday Americans that the elites ignore. You could think of Red Pilled America as audio documentaries, and we promise only one thing: the truth.
Visit the iHeartRadio app right now to listen to Red Pilled America.
I'm Brenda Connor, identity theft victim.
No, I'm Brenda Connor.
Too bad it's hard to tell which Brenda is real.
That's what you think. I've got LifeLock to monitor my info and alert me to potential identity threats. And if I become a victim, they help fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock can help protect what's mine. How about that, Brenda? Thought so.
Join LifeLock by Norton and save up to 25% off your first year at LifeLock.com with promo code LifeLock.
John and Ken Show.
It's contagious.
Yeah, you infect me.
You two have been socially promiscuous with each other? Doesn't he come in your little booth and breathe your air?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was sick Friday and Monday.
Yeah, she sprayed her
I got worse news.
her vapor trail everywhere. It's John and Ken Show.
You didn't finish your saliva-filled intro.
No, that's mucus. John Cobell, Ken Shampoo, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
I would pick mucus as a worse word than moist.
Oh, I hate that word.
Survey says people hate moist, but mucus that's really...
You want to rename our little
The
segment
mucus
the mucus line?
That's kind of what it comes out to every week, doesn't it? It's like a bunch of people spewing mucus. I spoke too soon yesterday. I got the Deborah Marks. I'm not sick, no. The shot got me today. The booster vaccine.
Do you have body aches?
Yes. I woke up this morning, and you know when you have the flu and you feel like you just can't move? Mm-hmm. Then it was cold this morning, so I came out of the shower, and I was shivering uncontrollably till I grabbed a towel and was able to at least dry myself a bit. It was unbelievable. I haven't felt like that in a while.
Nice picture.
And I went and laid down for a few minutes because I was shivering so much.
So you weren't shivering from the
weak.
cold? You were shivering from
I was already, I guess, weak, and I think it's from the vaccine. And then when I started to get out into the colder weather, right, and the whole thing just got complicated. So
You should be okay tomorrow.
Maybe I have a good immune system.
Yep.
Then you see it's reacting, John. You didn't have anything, so
nothing.
You're dying.
A slightly sore arm. Maybe I am. I don't know.
Or maybe that mucus.
This one, the second one got me pretty good, but this one, almost nothing.
Yeah, I didn't get much from the first two.
I didn't either, Ken. It was
Just
the
a sore
third.
arm.
Yeah. Okay, so then, if John says that he had a little something with the second, then I think as long as we have something from one of them, our immune systems rock. That's just my hypothesis.
Ever the optimist.
Yeah, at this point, there's nothing else we can do.
That's true.
Because I just want to live normal life and not think about this stuff anymore. So I did what I could, and that's it. If it gets me, it gets me.
I'm going to a COVID party and
just go under.
A COVID party?
A COVID party. Just get it over with. See what happens. Yeah. Yeah, everybody exchange viral loads. Oh, that didn't sound good, did it?
No.
That did not sound good. All right, I retract that statement. That has orgy kind of sound to it, doesn't it?
Yeah. But, hey, we don't judge.
Hey, a really bizarre story today. Did you see this out of Norway? A man walked around town with a bow and arrow and killed 4 people. How often does that happen? A bow and arrow.
A bow and arrow?
Yes.
In Norway?
In Norway, in a town called Kongsberg, 26,000 people 50 miles southwest of Oslo. They do have him in custody. But apparently around 6 p.m., he just went to the center of town, and he pulled out his bow and arrow, and he just started
randomly
firing at people. I think so. There's not a lot of information. This isn't that long ago this happened, but even one of the officials here says we don't know if there's a nexus to terror. We don't even know that yet.
Yeah, I don't understand random. I mean, if you're going to do that, right? You're committed. You're going to risk
people you
prison.
really hate.
Wouldn't you pick 4 people you couldn't stand?
That's usually what happens with workplace shootings.
Right.
Yes.
Why? Yeah, workplace shootings. Actually, there's a little more. There's a line you could draw there that, okay, he hates these people, or specifically certain people, and so he's getting revenge against them. But I don't get just going out and picking off random people. Random, just
Some
anybody
people are
walking
just mad
by.
at the world. There isn't
I
anybody.
guess so.
They're usually loners who don't really hate anybody because they don't have any connections or friendships anyway. So, and then they just stew and they just want to kill humanity.
Right, but there's got to be people who've offended
Wronged
who've
you?
done you
Yeah.
wrong, right? Like if you're absolutely compelled to do this.
It's possible. Yeah. Another big story. This is a good one. The Attorney General, that Rob Bonta, who I didn't think would charge anybody with anything, has filed criminal charges against a woman by the name of Alma Hernandez and her husband, Jose Moscoso. Alma Hernandez is the executive director of SEIU California.
That is one of the largest unions, government unions in the state.
That's right.
And they were one of the leading contributors to Gavin Newsom's Stop the Recall effort.
They gave millions to the effort.
And it turns out, what a shock, union leaders, big Newsom backers, they're crooks. Wow.
A lot
Who
of it
would've known?
centers around the husband. The alleged underreporting of Hernandez and the husband's income from the years 2014 to 2019. They actually have something, the Tax Recovery in the Underground Economy Task Force. It's called TRUE. You like that one? Tax Recovery in the Underground. Well, I tell you, they could, I have to say, they could be busy. They could have 1 million guys working for that organization in California. The Underground Economy. Holy mackerel. You know how big that is in California?
How about all the
people that use cash to pay things?
all the drug gangs?
Oh, and the drug gangs?
Yeah, they don't go after those guys, do they?
Exactly.
A lot of unreported income.
Apparently, this guy has an air duct cleaning business. And
But doesn't that sound sketchy? Doesn't that sound
You've never
like
had your air ducts cleaned?
I don't know. It's just it's guys who do that kind of work.
Yeah, but businesses are probably big on that now because of the whole fear over the air.
And
right?
what, he made a lot of money cleaning air ducts and didn't report it.
Yeah, well, it says he did not report employees' wages from 2017 to 2020. That's one tax evasion. That comes from our friends at the Employment Development Department. That's the unemployment people, but they're also collecting the money, right? The unemployment taxes. That's one thing. According to the complaint, they also allegedly filed false joint income tax returns when they underreported $1.5 million of income to the Franchise Tax Board for the tax years 2014 through 2018.
Well, these two are making a lot of money.
Well, yeah, that's a 4-year period, so but that's still a decent amount of money.
And she runs this union, 700,000 workers. And
I know. Apparently she's resigned.
They donated more than $6 million to the campaign to stop the Newsom recall. So she's pretty close to Newsom. I mean, she's one of those people that he has to answer to. If she or her union doesn't like something, then Newsom gets an earful, and he's got to make amends.
She also was the treasurer of something called Working Families for Solario for Senate 2014. I guess somebody named Solario was running for state senate.
Whenever
it
you
was
see
a PAC.
Whenever you see some political group and it has this phrase "working families" in it, assume it's corrupt.
It's corrupt.
That's one of those shields. You
So
can't question us. We're representing working families.
They allege that she issued some money from the PAC's bank account to her husband for services he did not provide. And I saw something about it was supposed to be food and drink for campaign workers, but I mean, because he's in the air duct business, so. But it looks like she just shoveled him $12,000 sideways there. But of course, the end of this says it's important to know these are allegations. Every defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty.
See, people who are charged with crimes, me personally, I presume they're guilty until proven innocent.
Don't think anybody's railroaded?
But no, actually, very, very few. Everybody, no.
But I thought you think the government's corrupt and they're out to get people, no?
The government's corrupt and out to get people, but most people who are charged are guilty.
Yeah, because I agree with you. Most people get away with everything. Because
they don't, because the government doesn't waste time and money. You have to spend months and months and months on a financial case like this, right? There's a lot of manpower in there. There's a lot of money. And whoever's prosecuting the case wants to be as absolutely certain as possible that they're going to get a conviction, that they're going to be able to explain this to 12 morons who get roped into jury duty. That's a pretty high bar. It's not just convincing 12 people. It's 12 people with below average IQs. So you got to have a case that really works. And that's why I think most criminals are guilty, because a district attorney does not want losses on the scoreboard. Prosecutors don't want losses.
Right.
They only want wins.
All right, we got more coming up.
John and Ken, KFI. John and Ken Show. John Cobelt and Ken Shampoo. It's KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, not tomorrow, but the day after, the Moist line returns, 1-877-MOIST-86. Start leaving those messages, see what we have in there this week. Are we going to rename it Mucus?
Yeah, the Mucus.
The Mucus line.
Mucus
If
line.
the phone number wouldn't. 1-877-664-7886. Because that Moist is spelled out.
Yeah.
Last night, the Los Angeles Dodgers defeated the San Francisco Giants to move the divisional series to Game 5 in San Francisco tomorrow night. We happen to have a member of the John and Ken Show team that is known as the Duke of Sports. That's his handle.
I know. All right, now you're going to have to explain this. This is our board operator, Eric Sklar. And you have a what? You have a whole empire under the name Duke of Sports?
Well, okay, so Duke was my fraternity pledge name, and it was actually named after the fraternity dog. So
I see. So this is not something the Queen gave you.
No. I named myself the Duke of Sports.
It's not a John Wayne thing either.
So do you have like a website here? Is this a gambling site? Or
I have my own podcast, and I throw sports takes on Twitter. Kind of thing.
I see. All right.
Yeah.
So this is a real thing.
So I guess you're at the game last night and took this video. Is that what happened? Or?
Yeah. I was at the game. I bought tickets actually at like 3:30 before the game, and Ray actually took me to the game. He dropped me off, and I ran up the hill. So thanks to Ray for giving me a ride.
All right. So what is it? You went viral with this video. Explain to people what happened.
Well, so apparently, I don't even think this guy actually meant to be on the field, but he ended up on the field. I think he honestly fell over the wall.
Drunk?
I think so. He was an older Hispanic man.
Was this right field?
Yeah, right field, right by the Giants bullpen.
And it wasn't
warning
Ray.
track. It looks
No,
like, right?
no, it was not Ray.
It was not Ray. Okay.
No.
Older Hispanic drunk man. Wow, great.
No, definitely not Ray. But yeah, I think he honestly just fell over the wall, and security didn't really notice. I think they had their backs turned, but then all of a sudden they all turned around and saw this guy on the field, and they all just converged on him. And
you got the video.
Yeah.
Now
If you watch the video, it's only 20 or 30 seconds.
I have it ready.
The woman's in there too. The woman security.
Oh yeah, she was one of the first on him.
Yeah, and she gets some other guy comes over and lands like on top of her for a second. It looks pretty bizarre.
I'm looking at the still shot, and that is a big pile of bodies.
Yeah,
it looks like 8 legs sticking out.
There was definitely at least 6 guys and 1 female on top of him.
So you got some audio of the video you shot?
Yeah.
All right, play it.
He did not get far at all, folks. He did not get far at all.
There's 2 more guys coming in now.
He didn't get far at all.
I didn't get a chance to see him when they brought him up.
Who's the narrator there?
That was me.
He didn't get far at all?
That's you?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like you.
I mean, my voice is kind of hoarse right now. I was screaming a lot last night.
Is that right?
It was a pretty fun game.
All right. Well, you were drinking too?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you were out in the right field stands.
Oh, yeah. I was with the people last night.
That's all that goes on there.
Yeah, that gets ugly out there. Any Giants fans around you?
I actually went with a Giants fan. Yeah, my friend, and I did have to protect him at some points.
Well, that's suicide these days. You can't be an opposing fan in a really big game like this one with a big crowd.
Especially in the right field stands.
Does he actually cheer for his team loud and stuff? Or
oh, yeah. He was wearing a Barry Bonds jersey last night.
Oh, so he was going for it.
Oh, yeah.
This was a suicide mission. Jeez.
Doubly worse.
I would go with my son. We were Mets fans, and I always told him neutral hats.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have a friend from the East Coast who was a Mets fan. We would go. I would take her to the game. She stopped wearing her stuff because she didn't like the harassment.
Yeah.
It just gets too ugly. She goes, there's no need to do that, but I can't stop people.
I mean, it was during the McCourt years, but I saw some awful stuff.
There was a fight between 2 Dodger fans right near me last night, actually. But it wasn't Dodgers versus Giants. It was 2 Dodger fans.
Yeah. Well, it's the blood alcohol level. That's what happens.
Exactly. If you want to stop fights at games, stop selling booze.
Hey, you make any money with this? You got thousands of views. Is this?
No, the website didn't even ask for my permission to use the tweet.
Is that right?
Yeah, Gary Hoffman was the one that told me that they used it.
Oh, it's a KFI website that took it.
No, SF Gate.
No, the
SF Gate.
The San Francisco
I
paper
see.
has the story, right?
Well, I'd sue.
And I guess a reporter who was covering the game saw the video.
Oh, yeah, look at that. SF Gate. Well, good work.
Thank you.
Duke of Sports.
All right. There he is.
There you go.
I'm not going to San Francisco.
It's probably no better up there if you're wearing Dodger stuff.
I was reading these stories, and it's the usual why San Francisco hates L.A., and somewhat it was about Giants fans responding to Dodger fans. It was also just about the whole, and some people who've lived here long enough know this. L.A. people don't think a lot about the Bay Area, except you and I talk about the crazy progressive politicians that come out of there. But we don't think about the people as much. But the people up there really do not like Southern Californians. They can't. They're not allowed to talk.
Not until they clean up all the heroin needles and the excrement on the street. They don't get to talk. They have the worst civilization in the country right now.
They have a city that is run amok, at least right there in San Francisco.
Because that's not a poor place. That's not downtrodden people who have no choices. They've chosen to live with the feces and the heroin needles. That's
later on. We'll talk about this. Walgreens has just given up. They closed 5 stores in San Francisco.
Yeah, did you see that?
Because of this. 5 stores gone.
So they closed
the organized retail crime.
How many had they closed a few months ago? Was it 17?
They did close a number of stores before that, but I don't have the number right here. But one of the supervisors from the district, he's devastated by the loss of one of the stores on Mission Street. I'm completely devastated by the news. This Walgreens is less than a mile from 7 schools, has been a staple for seniors, families, and children for decades.
Yeah, except...
what did you do about it?
They're going out of business because all the bad guys you've enabled are stealing everything off the shelves. I've read that, like in New York, this is going on too. Shelves are empty because of the thefts.
Oh, it says here, Walgreens has closed at least 10 stores in San Francisco since the beginning of 2019.
Yeah. Stupid politicians grandstanding now. Oh, this is terrible. Women and children need these Walgreens. Roll back that stupid Prop 47 that your guy, George Gascon, wrote.
Yeah, that's right.
All right?
Who we're now stuck with.
Yeah, he was the San Francisco DA. He wrote the damn thing, lied to people about what it was really about, and now look, 7 years later, and you don't enforce the drug laws, and you don't enforce basic human decency laws, so you deserve it. You deserve to have everything closed on you.
All right, we're going to go to Bidenville next. An announcement was made to relieve the backlog at our ports, the Port of L.A. and the Port of Long Beach, all those container ships just sitting there for days and weeks. We'll explain what's being done and more coming up.
John and Ken Show, KFI.
We'd like to formally welcome you to the rest home of Old Joe. Welcome to Bidenville, everyone.
All men and women created by you know the thing. My mind's going blank now. Whether or not there's a man on the moon or whatever, something, or whether those aliens are here or not. I can't remember it. Anyway.
I got them $1.9 trillion relief so far.
Last night I was on television. I was on the telephone.
I wrote the bill on the environment. Pay them more.
I'm not supposed to take any questions, but go ahead. I want to thank that fellow down under. Thank you very much, pal. Appreciate it, Mr. Prime Minister. For Secretary of Health and Education Service, I nominated Javier Baccaria. Now, when President Harris and I took a virtual tour of a vaccination center in Arizona, the guy who runs that outfit over there.
And now, to give you a tour of Bidenville before your extended stay, here's John and Ken.
John Cobelt, Ken Shampoo, KFI, AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
It's a pretty fall afternoon out here in the park.
It is.
On the bench close to Bidenville. I remembered another one, too. Remember when he said that time, the record player?
Record player, yes. That was one of the early ones.
Yeah.
When he was running.
When he was running for president,
yes.
He mentioned people turn on the record player so the kids can learn to read or hear voices. I don't remember what it was.
That was an early sign. I don't know what he's done about this, but at least his staff got all the stakeholders together, right? They're called
The
stakeholders.
Stakeholders, yes.
To try to unclog the world's shipping backup and supply chain backup.
One of them is actually standing there holding a filet mignon, a stakeholder. Yeah, I went down to the port today and I got my toaster. I just got impatient. I ordered it like 6 months ago, and it's probably on one of those ships. I had to go ship to ship. It was a pain in the neck, but I got my toaster.
You're getting a little rowboat, and you just shout your name up.
Yeah.
And you go, hey, shampoo, toaster.
If you have the company and your order number, maybe they can find the crate. Yeah, so they're gonna operate 24/7. Long Beach has already been doing this, but LA is now going to do this. And the stakeholders that John is referring to are some of these big companies in the global supply chain, like the Walmarts and
FedEx, UPS, Samsung, Home Depot, Target.
Right.
They're all gonna help unload their stuff in some way, I guess. Provide the trucks.
I guess they're going to try to get more people there to get the cargo off the docks. To speed the flow of toys, electronics, and other gifts to American doorsteps during the holiday season.
Well,
apparently there's this paranoia in the Biden administration that if this does become a tough time for people to find stuff in a couple of months, they're going to blame D.C.
They're afraid of political ads that show
empty shelves and kids crying.
Cute little children under the Christmas tree, and they come to the tree, and there's nothing there. Mommy, Daddy, what happened to Santa Claus? Joe Biden took all the presents. That's why there's no Christmas this year, guys.
I'm afraid your gifts are on shipping containers and boats at sea, and it's President Biden's fault.
Joe Biden wouldn't let Santa get the presents off the ships. That is what they're afraid of. And that's probably what'll happen if this doesn't sort itself out a little bit. If people really don't get Christmas gifts for their children, then, those are bad commercials.
They asked that spokeshole Psaki, Jen Psaki, the White House spokeshole, well, will holiday packages arrive on time? Well, we're not the Postal Service or UPS or FedEx. We can't guarantee anything.
Well, actually,
don't blame us.
You are the Postal Service. It's
a separate agency of the federal government.
Yeah, right, but it's the federal government.
Right. So let's play this audio. You found this today, this hack Van Jones.
Oh, this is funny. Okay, Van Jones, if you watch CNN, you've probably seen him. All right, he's one of the talking heads. And he's a liberal guy. He used to work in the Obama administration. But he's been a CNN head now for quite a while.
Go ahead.
And he's interesting because every once in a while, he says something completely at odds with the liberal orthodoxy, right? Whatever the woke crowd or the Democratic crowd insists is current law. And sometimes he goes against them. And he this is an example to it. He's talking to that idiot, Chris Cuomo. So listen to this.
The numbers are down. The party is fighting with itself over what should be easy wins. Are they connected?
Well, yeah, I think that right now, the honeymoon's over. There was a moment where it's like Trump's, goodbye Trump, hello vaccines. We're so glad to see you, Joe Biden. That's kind of how this year started. And then, he actually got stuff done. Don't forget, you got 200 million Americans who are vaccinated right now. You got $1 trillion that he was able to move out into the economy with the rescue plan. He's dealing with the coup attempt well. His Department of Justice is going after voter suppression. He's doing a lot of good stuff. The problem is that he put himself in a position where he made big, bold claims about the rest of the agenda. You think this great stuff that we did is good? It's nothing. Wait until this summer when you're going to get all this other stuff. And then he steps on a rake, and then he slips on a banana peel, and then he falls down the stairs with some marbles. And now people are looking at him in a negative light.
All right,
now,
stop right there.
A little cartoonish.
That is great. So Biden's walking along, steps on the rake. Boom. Rake hits him in the forehead. Slips on the banana peel, and now he skids down a staircase full of marbles.
Yeah, that sounds like something Joe would do. And this is as tough as the criticism gets. A cartoon.
Well, that's right. When now you're getting ridiculed by your own people. Van Jones was in the Obama-Biden administration.
Oh, yeah, CNN is still the Democratic network.
Right. So it's his teammates here who are saying, hey, you look like a clown. You got a clown act going here. You got the rake, the banana peel, the marbles down the stairs. This is like something out of Coyote and Roadrunner.
Yes.
This is when you know it's over for Joe.
Yeah, and I saw it, which is a good question from all people, Chris Cuomo. Where is Biden? Making it sound like, and again, we all know this. He doesn't appear that often. He doesn't take questions. You heard that in the Bidenville intro. He's been told not to take questions. He's completely controlled and handled and has to listen to people that tell him which way to face. They turn his body, actually, to walk in the right direction.
These aren't questions anymore. We know why. It's just no one in an official Washington or in the media speaks about it out loud. They will. Within another year, if unless Biden falls over into the dirt, they'll start talking about it. They'll start talking about it, especially if there's some landslide against the Democrats in the congressional elections next year.
Well, that's all they're thinking about.
Which is all they care about. They care about their own jobs. They don't care about him. They don't care about Biden at all.
That's why they're afraid for Christmas, because by the time Christmas comes, we roll into the new year, people will start running, primaries come, and they're going to be nervous. So they don't want Christmas to be a bust for people with the packages. Now, when we come back, we'll play another hack. This one I found because I found this extraordinary. That dope Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, a Democrat from San Francisco, was sort of blaming the media for not delivering the message and selling their dopey $3.5 trillion social welfare bill. Just blaming the media. You should be selling this for us.
Well, that's revealing, isn't it?
Her way of saying it's full of giveaways and goodies. So, yeah, go sell it to people.
Yeah. Hey, you're on our side, remember? You're our teammates.
All right, we'll talk about that coming up.
John and Ken, KFI. John and Ken Show. John Cobelt and Ken Chiappo. It's KFI AM 640. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
The Let Them Breathe movement, that's about kids and wearing masks everywhere they go, has another initiative, Let Them Choose, dealing with student vaccine mandates. Coming up after the news at 3, we'll talk to Sharon, founder and director. They held a press conference today because they have filed a lawsuit against the San Diego Unified School District over the vaccine mandate plan. She'll give us all the specifics coming up after 3 o'clock. We're talking about the clowns in the Democratic Party and their dopes on the cable news channels. We just played Chris Cuomo and his guest analyst, Van Jones, who were using a cartoon analogy to explain what's happened to Joe Biden, especially in the last 6 months of his presidency. He's falling down the stairs.
He stepped on a rake, slipped on a banana peel, and fell down the stairs with some marbles.
The $3.5 trillion, it's actually called the Budget Reconciliation. They also call it Build Back Better or Better Build Back or... Anyway,
it's a big social spending bill. It's free nonsense for everybody.
They can't get the votes, so right now it's on hold. They may revisit it later in the year. So the House Speaker, who is, the picture of her here is looking frightening. Nancy Pelosi from San Francisco has too many facelifts and Botox treatments. She looks comical, actually. She lashed out at the media. Because apparently a poll says only 10% of Americans really know much about what's in the bill. So she's here. You listen to this clip. We got the question too, and she's blaming especially her. The media is generally on the side of this party. Let's listen.
Do you think you need to do a better job at messaging and going forward? How do you sell this if ultimately you have to?
Well, I think you all could do a better job of selling it, to be very frank with you, because every time I come here, I go through the list. Family and medical leave, climate, the issues that are in there. But it is true, it is hard to break through when you have such a comprehensive package. But as we narrow it down and put it out there, I think that it will. For example, one of the things in the bill is the continuation of the Biden tax credit, that is child tax credit, that is in the was in the rescue package. That has great appeal. Do people know where it springs from? No. But it is a vast bill. It has a lot in it, and we'll have to continue to make sure the public does. But whether they know it or not, they overwhelmingly support it. And by the way, women much more than men. Men like the infrastructure, this one here.
So a congressman by the name of Jim Banks from Indiana, Republican, apparently had his own little press briefing, not as well attended as somebody like Pelosi's, but he had laid out by bullet point, 42 bullets, in fact, some of the ridiculous things in this bill. I'll just read you a couple. I mean, $8 billion to commission a civilian climate corps that would establish a cabal of federally funded climate police to conduct progressive activism on taxpayers' dime, a $10 billion environmental justice higher education slush fund to indoctrinate college students and advance the Green New Deal policies. What he did was he took what's in the bill and then he interpreted it in his way.
It doesn't.
It doesn't say that.
It doesn't
in the bill.
call it. Yeah, the Democrats don't call it an educational slush fund, but that's what it is.
Right. $8 billion on a civilian climate corps? I'm sure that's in there. Something called a civilian climate corps.
Yeah.
Because they said we're going to create something like the Peace Corps. Remember the Peace Corps?
It would be
so successful in helping people in poorer countries. We need to do something here about climate change. How about a climate corps?
They want to spend $643 million as part of the school lunch program to procure culturally appropriate foods. Now, the government has to give money to schools so that they buy what is culturally appropriate.
Well, I think it means if you give every kid a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, that may not go over too well from people from other cultures who never had that food served to them when they were children.
Then they can make their own lunch.
They
can make their own lunch. Mom and dad could make them the lunch, and they could bring it in if they find the food is not culturally appropriate. Whatever the hell that means.
Apparently, the bill requires pre-K because they want to give out free pre-K to the children.
Why can't parents pay for pre-K?
It's requiring pre-K staff to have a college degree. And he said, well, a lot of healthcare providers don't have a college degree right now, and they'll be out of work because they won't be needed with free pre-K.
Why do you need a college degree to take care of toddlers?
I don't know.
Pre-K, much of it's daycare.
It is.
My kids
you read to the kids, things like that.
My kids went to pre-K. I had the equivalent of 9 years of pre-K I saw up close. Not a whole lot going on there. It was fun. They learned a little bit, but mostly it's a good time.
I think
gives mom a break at home.
We put somebody in there with a PhD. These kids will be ready for 5th grade by the time they're done with pre-K.
You get the colors done. You get a few numbers.
You play with the blocks and put together the numbers and the letters.
You learn how to sing-song the alphabet.
And it teaches you to be social with people.
Right. But
yeah, that's the big thing.
The
Get
teachers,
you out of the home and start to integrate with other kids.
Yeah, you learn to avoid the psychopath kids.
Already at like 3 years old, they're psychopath kids?
Definitely. I picked out the psychopath in my class when I was 5.
Yeah.
In 1st grade. I was absolutely right years later.
He killed people?
He got in all kinds of trouble.
Oh.
It was just obvious. I remember him. I remember his name, remember where he sat in relation to my desk. And in 1st grade, I looked at him and I go, wow, that's a bad kid. And called it, nailed it.
My father used to play a game. My brother would come home and give him the names of his classmates, and my father could figure out right away which one was a troublemaker and which one was a good kid. He's worse than you. He just went by names.
Was he right?
He was right like 80% of the time. Yes.
I went by...
That's what amused my brother. He's like, you're right. He's in trouble again today at school. How did you know? The name.
I went by hair.
Oh, hair.
There were certain haircuts that almost automatically the kid was going to be trouble because it reflected the parents. And you got an idea what the parents' discipline was like.
When I was in kindergarten, I went by tattoos. Kids already got a tattoo. It's probably... All right, coming up next, Let Them Choose. Remember the initiative Let Them Breathe? That's about kids being forced to wear masks. Now this is about Let Them Choose the vaccine mandates. There's a lawsuit against the San Diego Unified School District. We'll talk about it next.
John and Ken Show. Deborah Mark has the news. KFI AM 640.
Lowe's sabe que entre más opciones tengan los pros, mejores son las posibilidades para sus clientes. Por eso hemos tenido en cuenta a los pros como tú, para crear la mejor exhibición con una gran variedad de marcas exclusivas de alfombras Stainmaster, pisos de vinilo ProCore Plus y pisos laminados Pergo. Aprovecha grandes cantidades de los artículos que necesitas y a buenos precios cada día. Otra razón más por la que Lowe's es el nuevo hogar de los pros.
Sattva Customer Service, how may I help you?
Hi, is it true that Sattva delivers to any room in the house?
Correct.
Really? Even to a treehouse with spiral stairs?
Yep.
Or an underground man cave?
Yep.
What about a research library hidden behind a painting that can only be accessed with facial recognition?
Sattva's free white glove delivery, setup, and old mattress removal works for all rooms.
Impressive. Get $200 off your purchase of $1,000 or more at sattva.com/200.